Alright guys, welcome back to some Planet Zoo. Today we are finally starting the plaza. So as you can see, we did the barrier last episode, got that all situated. Right here I was going to do the guest gates, and then I was like, oh, you know what, it's best to wait on those anyway. So we fill all this in with uh, paths, which takes a minute just because we're doing the grid pathways. So you have to single-handedly place each grid unit. So it takes a little longer than usual pathing, but it's worth it because it looks more uniformed. It looks a lot better than having round paths and just kind of throwing paths around. It's also like the only thing I can do to do like an actual plaza, so. But I fill that in real quick, doesn't take too long. Um, and yeah, I'm still kind of trying to think on how I want to lay out the plaza, which will be next episode's issue anyway. And I'm still trying to figure out how I want to do the landscaping around the plaza. I have a couple ideas, which I'll talk about when we take a closer look at the enclosure and stuff. But yeah. And then as you can see, I was trying to place the square pathway the whole way through. Bad idea on my part. So I delete a couple of them on that corner. Leave the rest because I think they'll be fine. And then so what I did is I just went with the widest path I could do, and I just did a couple here and there like that. And I think that's gonna look good. I think it's gonna make the pathways look good, and I'll be able to fill it in pretty well overall. Now I'm moving this real quick so I could have it more snug with the pathway, but also so I could fill in the grids, because I couldn't fill in the grids on either side. Also, sorry if I sniffle or cough or anything. I have some kind of fucking sickness. I think it's just a sore throat, but I can't hear out of my ears good. So it might be like a sinus infection, but I can't hear out of my ears. I can't breathe through my nose very well. Yeah, I'm just all fucked up. And I got a sore throat. But yeah, as you can see, I'm just kind of making the path snug, or the barrier snug with the pathway the best I possibly can. I'm actually very happy with the way this enclosure came out. So right here I was like, oh, why aren't these connecting? So I just delete the grid, and then I just put in the guest path right there, and then I reconnect them. It's not as clean as having the grid just be butt up with the thing anymore, but it's alright, it works. But as you can see, boom. And then I go and I just do the natural pathway with the curbs. Just like that, nice little round thing. God. And then yeah, that's the general layout of the enclosure. Looks pretty good overall though. And then I decided to extend the pathway over 1 or 2 blocks so I could add a third entrance path on this side. Sorry. And I think overall, the overall like layout of the foundation for the plaza is good. I just got to figure out how I'm going to lay out buildings. I know that the vendors are going to go towards the back, past the enclosure from this side. So I know that's going to happen. And then I kind of got to just figure out where I'm going to put like the restaurant and the bathroom and souvenir shop, and I think that's it. But add the FENNEC foxes in so we could figure out what to do, and then add the FENNEC fox to a work zone. That way someone will take care of them. Hopefully. So just waiting for him to come. You know, and then of course I let the game play, so everything gets out of hand very quickly. But it's alright. And then I'm looking around, I'm like, a couple of these spots don't have any water treatment, and that's not good. So I look over here, I'm like, oh shit. So I add another water treatment at the edge of this. Oh, sorry. At the edge of this pathway. I just added another water treatment just so it could fit in that and be good. So then I add that to the Asian work zone as well as the bathroom that I added a couple episodes ago. Forgot to add it to a work zone. So I did that. God, I cannot breathe. But yeah, so I did that while I'm waiting for them to come. They come at some point. But I add in water on this side because the water treatment's gonna go behind the vendors. And I thought the water looked better on this side rather than the other side. So I add that. And boom, just like that, got some nice little bits of water. Then I'm like, okay, let's make sure we got our water treatment and our transformer. I was gonna put it on this side, but then I was like, I'm gonna need it anyway for past the plaza, so might as well do it on the other side of the plaza. So that's what we did. Did it as far as I possibly could from the water, while it's with it still being in there. So I did that, and then I did the staff path all the way over, and then now I'm gonna do the transformer as well, I believe. Yep. I'm gonna place that just right next to it, just so that they're both right next to each other, easy to get to. And then I add both of them to the work zone, and then I set both of them to get visited every 3 months instead of every year, because as we know, every year does not work at all. It's terrible. It's so bad that it defaults to every year. And now we're doing the actual enclosure. So FENNEC foxes mostly want sand in their enclosure, which I thought was kind of cool, because I've yet to build an enclosure that's dominantly sand. So that was a nice change of pace from our other enclosures. But I do that, just throw sand absolutely fucking everywhere. And then we go over to plants. And we add in just a fuck ton of palm trees, because that's basically all they want. So that's basically all we add. I mean, they have a couple other palm trees that they want, or a couple other trees that they want, but coverage was already super high by the time I was done. Also, I built this hard shelter for no reason, because these guys can have an animal burrow. So I delete this and I just put an animal burrow and a tree in its place. Which works. It looks better than this did anyway. I couldn't figure out what to do. I'm like, it's such a small space. I have to do something little. I thought it looked good, but they didn't need it because of the animal burrow, so I just swapped it out real quick. Yeah, nothing much to say about the hard shelter. Fairly simple. I do have to add a heater in the middle of this because it does snow in the winter, which I forgot to do for most of our enclosures. But yeah, I'm just kind of looking, thinking, figuring out how I want to play stuff. I just kind of did with sorry, I kind of went willy-nilly with it. Just put shit wherever I thought it looked nice. And I think that overall this enclosure came out really well. I think it looks good overall. Sorry. I cannot breathe. But I had to get this video done. There probably will not be a Planet Zoo video on Monday and Wednesday next week. I'm not sure. But there might not be Planet Zoo videos on Monday and Wednesday, depending on how my weekend goes. Because I don't feel good. But I knew I had to film this so I could at least say I wasn't going to have videos for Monday and Wednesday. And then, yeah, I just knew I had to at least make a video about it. So, plus that would give me time to actually build them off camera fairly solid in the plaza, you know? It will give me time. Because I'm thinking the plaza will take like 2 or 3 hours. So we'll see. But, yeah, so we added in all the plants. They're happy with them. Then we gotta add enrichment. They don't have a lot, but as you see, there's a burrow there. I'm like, oh, wow. I was gonna put it over here and leave the hard shelter, But I was like, no, let's delete the hard shelter, put the animal burrow in this corner. It'll look better that way. I'm like, what the fuck did I delete? I deleted the habitat gate. And that's why it said they escaped. But I do that, as you can see, looks great. Oh shit, I didn't add a feeder. Like an actual feeder. I gotta do that right now when we go take a closer look at it. But I added that tree in the corner and I'm like, wow. Really came together. But yeah, I forgot to do a feeder. Like an actual feeder. But yeah, so everything's good there. And then, of course, the game's playing, so everything goes to shit. The pronghorn is here. We're having some issues because dominance. But that enclosure is such a waste of space. I have to go through the zoo and re-add a bunch of animals to enclosures because most of our enclosures are fairly empty. We have a few that are like basically keeping themselves populated because they're having enough babies. But there's so many habitats in the zoo right now that are close to empty and have just one or two kicking it still. But they're not able to breed because they're either old or whatever, you know, so. But did that. And then right here, I'm just trying to figure out why is it saying that they can't enter it? Why is it saying that there's no staff that can enter this habitat? It's because I forgot to re-add it to the work zone after I deleted the habitat gate. So I have to go through do that, which takes a second, but it's not a big deal. Like I'm looking at everything. I'm like traversable, whatever. What is it? It was the work zone though. So I go, I add it back to the work zone. Beautiful. So that's all good now. And then I unbox the animals because they're just all boxed for no fucking reason. I leave that alone because I can't fucking do anything in there anyway because he's injured. So I just move him to a quarantine. Just like whatever. I don't know what to do with you, man. So I do that, and then I add the education as well as some sides and bins so that they're all good to go. So I added quite a few TVs. I thought it looked best to have TVs on both sides of the doors. So I did that, and then I just did a few on the edge right there. Then I added the speakers and the bins, which I went with the African bins because it's going to be an African themed plaza. And that's kind of the whole building set I'm going to use for the enclosure. So I did that, then I went over and we're going to put up some of these in the plaza. I was kind of just trying to think about stuff for later. But then I put in the bins, and then I get the signs for the do not disturb and do not feed. But yeah, as you can see, I just put a couple around, just so people don't throw shit in there, and that's basically it. And then I go over here and get the sides that we need. Put 3 on each side, basically. 1, 2, and 3. And then I go and I get the do not feed the animal sign. And I put that over there as well. I was going to do donation things, but we didn't need them. So, yeah. Or, well, we do need them, but I'm going to do them when we do the whole plaza. But, yeah. So that's the FENNEC Fox enclosure. Let's go take a closer look at it and talk about the next episode. And as you guys can see, these little guys are pretty happy. I'm very happy about having these guys. I've been wanting them for a hot minute. But before anything, we should probably make sure that these guys can eat. So let's go ahead and go over to their food feeders. We'll add a food tray right next to the door. Actually, no, we'll do it right there. And that is it, though. The Fennec Fox enclosure came out great. Very happy with the way it looks. Guests will be able to eat their food outside here, look in. They'll be able to walk through if they want. Very happy with the way it came out. As you can see, this is what the guest will see the whole way around. They'll be able to see whatever they need to see. Looks great. Very happy about it. It's a pretty good looking enclosure, I'd say. Now, next episode, we gotta start doing the plaza. So we'll start with the vendors. We'll get that all figured out right here. As well as like a little staff area behind it. And then we will do, so we'll do the vendors, we'll do the staff area, and we'll see how long that takes. Depending on how long that takes, we might also do like the restrooms, because there'll probably be 2 or 3. There'll probably be one right here, one over here, and one over here. Then we gotta do the restaurant, the shop, and then a lot of seating areas and lighting. So it's gonna be a lot for sure. But it should come out pretty good. I'm pretty excited for it. I'm hoping it comes out better than this, even though I'm really happy with this plaza. It ended up just being smaller than I needed it to be, you know? So, but I am fairly happy with it. So, we'll see how the other one comes out. But I think this whole plaza looks pretty good, so. But, yeah. That's going to do it. We're going to keep it short and sweet today. That was the FENNEC Fox enclosure, though. It came out really nice. Next episode, we'll continue the plaza build and go from there. So, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Comment down below you guys want to see on the channel in the future. And I'll see you guys very soon in the next one. Stay safe out there. And peace out, guys.